Hi everyone, today we're going to do a little tutorial video on how to make this cute little Minion ear flap hat. It's very cute and you can see you can make two eyes or you can have one eye in the center. Some of the Minions have that. You can make it with one with a tongue or with no tongue, but every ear flap hat for Minion that I make, it has this yellow and then this black band that they use with their goggles, and then yellow again, and then there's blue for the ear flaps, and then I make braids on each side. So I'm going to start by making the hat itself, and then we'll make the accessories to go along with it. So let's get started. Firstly, I'm going to use an H size hook that's 5 millimeters, and we're going to use bright yellow yarn. I usually use Red Heart Super Saver. So I'm going to use yellow, a blue, we're going to use white, gray, and black. You'll also need a darning needle to sew in your ends, and you'll need a scissors. Also, I like to use my measure guide for the braids in the end. I like to measure on the side using my yarn and just measure the length I need for the braids. So we'll use that toward the end. To start off, you need to do a slip knot. So there are other videos out there on how to do a slip knot. First thing, you take the end of your yarn and you loop it over the top of the long strand. You take the loop and you go over the top of the long strand, leaving your straggler over here, and pulling this middle up and tight. And there you have your slip knot. There are other tutorials out there, like I said, that you can learn to do a slip knot. Next, we're going to start at the very top of the hat and work our way down. So you need to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And make 9 double crochets into the first chain. So yarn over, go through the first chain, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is our first double crochet. So make 8 more of those into that chain, the last chain from the hook. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And notice how the straggler, I was kind of crocheting over the top of the straggler, and once you feel comfortable with it, you can just leave it and sew it in the end. So once you have 9 double crochets in the center, slip stitch to the first single or double crochet. So if you need to count back to 9, and then stick your hook inside underneath both loops. Sometimes you may need to go into the back loop only or the front loop only, but this one we're going to go through both loops, yarn over, pull through, and pull through, and fasten tight. So that's the top of our hat. So now we're going to go on to the next round, chain 2. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets in each stitch around, and you should end up with 18 double crochet in the end. And then we'll attach to the first double crochet. So let's get started. 1, 2, in that one, and then to the next one, make 2 more. 1, 2, and then in the next one, 2 more, 1 and 2, next double crochet, 2, 1, 2, I gotta get my yarn. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 2 in here. So continue putting 2 in each and we'll catch you back at the end.
Okay.
So now we're back up at the end. We made 2 double crochets in each stitch around and we should end up with 18 stitches. So if you need to go back and count your stitches, that's perfectly fine. And then we're going to attach to the first double crochet, so that's right here. So we're going to attach again, going under both loops, yarning over and pull through and pull through, and that attaches it. So on to round 3, we're going to do 2 double crochets in the first stitch and then 1 in the next, and then 2 double crochets in the third stitch and then 1 in the next, and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. Okay, so let's start here. Chain up 2. At every row when you start you have to chain up 2 because that is like your seam, and for double crochets they're so tall, so you need to have that chain 2. So 2 in the first double crochet, and 1 in the next. So let's do that again. So 2 in the double crochet right here, and then 1 in the next. So basically every other one you're going to put 2 double crochets in, and we'll do that all the way around, and we'll meet up back at the end. Okay, so now we're coming up to the end, so I put 2 here, and I just want to put 1 more into the last double crochet, and then we're going to attach with a slip stitch to the first double crochet here, and then we're going to chain up 2, like always. So you should have 27 stitches on this round, so you can go back and count if you need to. On this next round, we're going to put 2 double crochets, and then in the next 2 just put a single crochet in each of those, and then put 2 double crochets and then single crochets in the next 2. So we're going to end up with 36 double crochets on this next round. So I'll show you here. Start with 2 in this first stitch, 1, 2, and then the next 2 we're just going to put 1 double crochet. So 1 and 1, and in the next one we're going to put 2 double crochets, and in the next 2 we're only going to put 1. So 1 and 1. So do that all the way around and we'll meet up in the end. Okay, so now we're on our last stitches, so I just want to review here. We're going to do 2 double crochets and then 1 double crochet in the next 2, and that is our round. And now we're going to connect with a slip stitch into our first stitch here, so you've seen that in previous rows, and chain up 2. Now for the size I'm making, I'm going to be making a child size hat, which would measure a child's head around 18 to 19 inches around. So I need to increase to 62 stitches around. So what I'm going to do in this next round is simply the same concept as I've been doing in these previous rounds. So this next round I will go up to 45 stitches, and we're going to increase by putting 2 stitches in the first stitch and then 1 in the next 3 stitches, and you see the pattern here. And then the next stitch will have 2 double crochets, and the next 3 will have 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets and 1 in the next 3. So I'll show you here. So there's 2, so 1 and 2 in the first one, and then 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 double crochet. And then as this next one, we're going to do 2. 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 1 in each of the next 3. So 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 1 double crochet. You see the pattern here, so I'm just going to continue on to the end, and we'll meet up back at the end. Okay, so we're coming up onto the last few stitches here, so I'm just going to review this round. We're going to do 2 double crochets in this stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're finishing off, so I just want to slip stitch to my first double crochet here, and chain up 2. Chain 2. Alright, so we have 45 stitches on this round. Now we're coming up to the next round, and we're going to do 2 double crochets, and in the next 4 we're going to do 1 double crochet. So it will end up with 54 stitches in the end. Okay, so 2 double crochet in the first stitch, make sure you're getting your stitches right, 2 in the first stitch, and then 1 in the next 4. 1, 1, 1, and 1. Okay, and then we'll start back up that pattern, so 2 double crochet in this stitch, and then 1 in the next 4. 1, 1, 1, and 1. Okay, so continue that pattern all the way until the end, and we'll meet up then. Okay, so we're coming up on the end, so I just want to review that last stitch. So we're going to do 2 double crochet into the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so before attaching, I actually am going to be changing colors, because in this hat you can see that there's this black band around. So we're going to attach the black and then make 1 round of that, and we're actually just going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch. So how to attach a color, we'll do that right here. And I'm sorry if you're unable to see how dark the black is, but I'll try my best to be able to have you see it. So you are going to go in like you're going to slip stitch, so go into your first double crochet like you're going to slip stitch, but leave the yellow in the back. And we're going to take the end of our black yarn and say 2 or 3 inches extra, and just slip this over our hook like this and pull that through and pull it through. So you're basically making a slip stitch with the new color. Okay, and don't worry if it becomes loose on this end, we're going to tighten it in the end, and we're actually going to tie a knot with these 2 colors and sew them in. So I'll do that later, but first off we're going to chain up 2, and no worries about crocheting this underneath. We have to tie a knot later, so without having these little stragglers in the way, we're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So there's no increasing on this round. So just 1, and then you should end up with, again, 54 stitches all the way around for this child size hat. So 1 stitch. Alright, so you can see the pattern, so I'm just going to quickly go around with this black and we'll meet up in the end. Okay, so I'm coming up on the last 2 stitches here, doing 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Now, since this band is only 1 row, what we're going to do is change back to the yellow. So we're going to pretend we're going to slip stitch right here, putting this hook in underneath both of those loops in the first double crochet from the round with the black, like this, and we're going to set it aside for a second, take our scissors and just cut the yellow as long as your black here. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing, so how we did it with the black. So make sure there's 2 or 3 inches and loop it around and pull through once and pull through again, and then leave that straggler in the back there, and then chain up 2. Okay, so at this point you're safe to set this down and set it aside for a minute, and what we're going to actually do is tie some knots. So we're done with the black, so we're going to cut that, and you see at this bottom here there's 2 colors, the yellow and the black stragglers here. What we're going to do is tie a knot, a very tight knot, and secure that. Okay, those then can be sewn in. What I usually do is take my yarn needle here and I stick this underneath the stitches. If you can see what I'm doing here, I'm sticking them underneath each stitch, and then I'm going to put the black into my needle from that round and pull that through, and then you're safe to cut off any excess yarn and stretch it vigorously. I mean, crazy stretch it, because you don't want any loose ends. Okay, so do that also with the yellow. I'm just going to leave that for now, but then we're going to do 1 round and then we'll come back and tie these 2 together. Okay, so we're on this next round here, and we're going to do an increase round because we only have 54 stitches and I need to get up to 62. So what we're going to do is increase every 9th stitch. Okay, so we're going to do a little different than what we've been doing. We're going to do an increase, so 2 double crochets in the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the next 8 stitches. Okay, so in the end I usually count up to 10, so that's 2 in the first, and then 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, 1, 1, 2 more. So 1 and 1. Okay, so we have 10 stitches so far, 2 in the first and then 1 in the next 8. So then repeat, so 2 So 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then 1 in the next 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we're done with the black yarn here. Okay, so now you know the pattern, so just repeat again and we'll meet up at the end. Okay, so now we're coming up onto the last stitch. I'm just going to do a quick double crochet in here, and we're going to connect to the first double crochet with a slip stitch like that and make it tight, and you can see that it's making that bowl shape, which is really nice because this is a hat. So now lay this down and you'll see from the previous row that you have these two stragglers here. So we're going to connect by making a knot with these two stragglers. So just make a really tight knot. Okay, and then you can sew your ends in to the black and to the yellow on your own. I'll do that off camera later, so I'll leave that to you. And for this hat, we're making a child hat. So I said earlier that we needed to do 62 stitches, but I messed up, and that is actually the teen adult hat. We only need 60 stitches, so we're at 60 right now. And we only want to make 12 rows from top to bottom of this hat, and then we want to do the blue part. So you see on this hat here, this is my adult hat, but we have the top yellow, the black, and then we have all these rows of yellow. So we're going to continue just doing one single crochet in each stitch until we get to row 12. And by the way, you can count your rows by seeing here from the center, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're at 8, so we need to do, what is that, 4 more? Alright, so let's do 4 of one single crochet in each stitch. So remember, chain up 2, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And if you're having trouble doing double crochet, there are other video tutorials out there on how to do a double crochet, how to do a chain, how to do a slip stitch, how to make a slip knot. So continue this pattern all the way around, just 1 double crochet into each stitch, and I will meet up with you at the end of this round. Okay, so now we're just meeting up at the end, and we're just going to do a slip stitch to the first double crochet here. And let's just repeat that same exact round 3 more times. So you'll end up from the very beginning, you'll have 12 rounds. So I'll meet you back up when I have that 3rd round done, and then we'll start adding the blue color and the ear flaps. Okay, so now we're coming up to the last few stitches. So we were just doing single crochet in each stitch around for those last 4 rows. So we're just going to go in like we're going to do a slip knot into the first double crochet, but we're going to attach the blue. So like I had showed you earlier on how to attach the black, we're going to attach the blue. So do your little slip stitch, pull everything tight, and chain up 2. Okay, so in this round we are going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So just like we just did the last few rows, we're going to do 1 single crochet, or I'm sorry, double crochet, 1 double crochet in each stitch around, and I will meet you back up at the end. Okay, so now I'm coming up to the last few here with the blue. I'm doing double crochets in each stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch to that first double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to set this aside for a sec, and we're going to trim the yellow because we're not going to use the yellow anymore. So trim it just as long as that other straggler. And we're done using yellow for this project. Then we're going to take these two here and tie our knot like we did with the black and yellow earlier to secure that. And like I said, you can sew those ends in underneath at your convenience, so you can do that. I'll do that off camera later. So now we have our beanie hat. If you look at it like this, you can see that it is finished. But we need to make the ear flaps. So on this one, how this one looks, we have an ear flap on this side and an ear flap on this side. And then we have those braids. So to make an ear flap, what we're going to do is start the ear flap right where we left off. We're going to chain up 2, and now we're going to do half double crochets, and we're going to make 1 half double crochet in the next 12 stitches. Okay, so a half double crochet is you yarn over and you go in to the stitch, you yarn over, pull through, and then you pull through all 3 loops that are on your hook. Okay, so we'll do that again. So yarn over, pull, go through this loop, pull, yarn over and pull through this, and then pull through all 3. Just like that. So we made 2 half double crochets. We have to make 10 more. So like this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, oops, 11, and 12. Okay, so now we're going to chain up 2, and we're going to turn our work. So I turn it like this, and then we're going to make a decrease half double crochet. So in order to do that, you yarn over, go through this first stitch here under both loops, yarn over and pull through like that. So you have 3 stitches on, or 3 loops on your hook. Then you go into the next stitch over, yarn over, and pull through that loop. Okay, so you have 4 stitches on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those stitches. That is a half double crochet decrease stitch. Okay, then we're going to single or half double crochet across till we get almost to the end. So just do a regular half double crochet in this stitch. Same thing, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, half double crochet. This will be a half double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then one more half double crochet, and then we're going to do another half double crochet decrease. So remember, yarn over, go through this first stitch, yarn over and pull through, so you have 3 loops on your hook. Go through the last stitch, and it would be kind of difficult for you to see the last stitch on here. Go through both loops, yarn over, pull through that, and then yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Then chain up 2 and turn your work again. And now we're just going to half double crochet each across. So no decreases in this round, just 1 half double crochet across, and you'll have 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then chain up 2, turn your work. This will be a decrease round, so we're going to decrease the first 2, then single crochet in the next 6, and then do a decrease half double crochet. So yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over, pull through that one. You have 3 on your loop, or on your hook, 3 loops on the hook. Going through the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, so you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. Now just half double crochet in the next 6 like regular, normal. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to do another decrease here. So yarn over, go through these, pull through 3 on the hook, go through the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 4. Chain up 2, turn your work. This row is not a decrease round, so we're just going to half double crochet in each of the 8 that we have left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chain up 2, turn your work. This will be a decrease round. So we're going to yarn over, go through the first stitch, yarn over and pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through all 4. That's the decrease. Then half double crochet in the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to do a decrease. So we have 2 more stitches left. So yarn over, go through this first stitch, yarn over and pull through. So you have 3 loops. Go through the next stitch, and this last stitch is always the most difficult. Yarn over and pull through that stitch. So you have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4. Chain up 2. This is not a decrease round, so we're just going to half double crochet in all 6 stitches that we have. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so chain up 2, turn your work. This will be a decrease round, and you're going to end up with 4 in the end. So we're going to decrease this first, 2. By now I assume you get how to decrease. Half double crochet in the next 2, and then do another decrease in the last 2. Okay, now chain up 2 and turn your work, and this is actually going to also be a decrease, so we're going to actually decrease all of these. So decrease this stitch, okay, and then do another decrease in these 2 stitches. Alright, and then we have one more, so chain up 2, turn your work, and decrease these last 2 stitches for a half double crochet decrease. I usually chain 1 to fasten off and have a little bit of tail here. Can fasten off, pull tight, and you can sew that in after you're done. Now we have to do one more ear flap. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at our work. You can kind of see there's a little bit of an invisible seam right here. Okay, so you can kind of see the seam. So that's going to be toward the back of the hat. This will be the front. So if you're going to the front, turn your hat upside down and count the stitches, 23 stitches to this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3. So in the 24th stitch is where we're going to start our next ear flap. Okay? So what I usually do, stick my hook in there, pull through just a loop right here, have a straggler in the back, chain up 2, and what I usually do is I crochet over the top of this straggler. So like we did with the other ear flap, we're going to half double crochet in the next 12. So actually half double crochet in the same stitch that you chained up 2, and then in the next 11. So this is 1, 2, and notice that I'm holding my straggler up over the top of the stitches, so I'm going around my work and the straggler. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you can see that the straggler is actually hidden inside of here, and there's no need to cut it off, so that's nice. Alright, so working on to the next row, just do exactly what we did with the other ear flap. So we're going to chain up 2, this will be turning our work, and we're going to decrease in this round. So we're going to decrease the first stitch, so decrease stitch, and then half double crochet in the next 8 stitches. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, and then half double crochet decrease in the last 2 stitches. And chain up 2, turn your work, This is not a decrease round. Every time you're working on the outside of the hat, it's not a decrease round. So we're just going to half double crochet across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the chain up 2 and turn your work. This will be a decrease round because we're on the inside. So decrease the first stitch, decrease half double crochet, half double crochet in the next 6 stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then half double crochet decrease in the last 2 stitches. And then chain up 2, turn your work. This is not a decrease row, so just half double crochet in each stitch across. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chain up 2, turn your work, half double crochet decrease in these 2 stitches, and then half double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4, and half double crochet decrease in the last 2 stitches. Chain up 2, turn your work. This is not a decrease round, so we're just going to half double crochet across in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and in chain up 2, turn the work. This will be a decrease round, so we'll decrease in these 2, half double crochet in the next 2, and then decrease in these last 2. And since you have 4 left, we're going to chain up 2, and we're actually going to decrease this next round. So decrease in these 2, and decrease in these 2. Chain up 2, turn your work, and very last one is a decrease, but don't fasten off. We're going to decrease and chain up 1, turn the work, and now we're going to single crochet all the way around our whole hat. So all the way around here, around the brim, and then around this ear flap, down to this ear flap, all the way up to back to the tip here. So why don't you do that, and we will meet right back up. Okay, so I'm coming up on the end, and we're just going to slip stitch to that first single crochet. And then what I usually do to fasten off is just chain 1, cut my yarn, and pull through and tighten it up. Okay, so now we have our hat complete. You'll have to stretch it out a little bit to get it all there, and we're gonna sew those ends in later. So now we have to have a face. So we're going to make the eyes first. So these eyes are really funny looking, and they have very large eyes and these goggles. So we'll first start out with the white and the gray, and then we'll add the black after. So you'll take your white and make a slip knot. Again, there are other videos out there to learn how to make a slip knot. And we're going to chain 2 And then in the first chain, we are going to single crochet 6 stitches. So single crochet is like this. So you just go in, no yarning over, just in, then yarn over, and then pull through, and then pull through 2. Okay, so that's 2, and then go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 3, go in, yarn over, pull through, that's 4, 5, and 6. Okay, then we are going to slip stitch into our first single crochet. So, and again with the eyes I'm using an H hook, 5 millimeters. Okay, then we are going to chain up 1, and in each stitch around we are going to put 2 single crochet in each stitch. So in this first one, 2, 1, 2, next one, 1 and 2, next one, 1 and 2. It may be a little tricky at first for the first couple of rounds. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, so that's 3. And then we want to do 2, 2. Alright, last stitch, 2 more. Okay, now when you get to your last stitch, you're not going to know really which one to slip stitch to, because there's this one, and then there's this here, and then there's this here. So I can tell you that this is on the first part. This is your chain up 1. So we're actually going to slip stitch to this one here. So we're going to go in under both of the loops. Okay. And then yarn over and pull through and pull through. Okay? Now we're going to chain up 1. And this is similar to making the hat. We're going in the rounds. So again, do an increase and then a single crochet. So two single crochet and then 1 single crochet. 2 single crochet and 1 single crochet. So let's start here. So we chained up 1. We're going to go in here, 2 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and 1 single crochet. So when I say 2 single crochet and 1 single crochet, I mean 2 single crochet in the same stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So 2 single crochet in this stitch, and then 1 single crochet in this stitch. Coming up on the last 2, so 2 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet. Okay, and again, you might get confused about this, but just know that you have to slip stitch to this one way up here. So, slip stitch by yarning over and pulling through and pulling through. Okay, so you should have 18 stitches around so far. And then we're going to do it again, but we're going to chain up 1, 2 single crochet in this stitch, then 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch 1 single crochet, and then 2, and then 1 and 1. So 2 single crochet here, 1, 2, and you kind of see the pattern after a while. So 1 and then 1. So 2 in the same stitch, and then 1 in the next, and 1 in the one after that, and then 2, and then 1 and 1. Okay, so you kind of get the point, so I'll just meet you up after I'm done with this round. Okay, so then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet. Alright, so now we are going to do, I'm thinking we're probably going to do one eye on this one. Since I already have one with 2 eyes, I kind of want one with 1 centered eye. So we're going to make another increase round, and so on this round we have 24 stitches, so on the next round we're going to go up to 30 stitches. So we're just increasing by 6 stitches each round. So we'll do an increase, so 2 in the first stitch, and then 1 in the next 3 stitches, and then 2, and then 1 in the next 3. Okay, so first I'll do it with you, so do 2. Remember, you had to chain up 1, and then 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochet in the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then in the next one we're going to increase, so do 2 single crochet, 1, 2, and then 1 in the next 3. Okay, so you get that pattern, so I'm going to meet you up when I finish this round. Okay, so we're coming up to the last one, so this is the chain 1 right here, so we're going to slip stitch into this one right here. Okay, sometimes it gets really tough, so I just flip my hook like that into it, and slip stitch. Okay. So I have one large one already made. So we want to make, if we're going to do one eye, we want it to be large enough, which I think this is large enough. So now, actually, we did not want to slip stitch, so take that slip stitch out and go back in, but we're going to use gray now because of the goggles. So let me grab some gray, and let's clear this area. So we're going to take the yarn and just attach it here and pull through and pull through. So essentially you're doing a slip stitch with the new color. Okay, then we're just going to leave that straggler behind there and chain up 1. And this is still going to be an increase row, so we are going to end up now with this row with 36 stitches. So we're going to do 2 in the first stitch and then 1 in the next 4 stitches. Okay, so you'll have 6 stitches and then increase, and then 1 in the next 4, increase, 1 in the next 4. So let's just get started, and then I'll let you do it on your own. So 1 single crochet, and then another one in the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 4. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 1 and 1. Okay, so now we're going to increase again. 1 and 1. Okay, so then 1 in the next 4. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 1 single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to increase 1, 2, and then 1 in the next 4 stitches. So you get the pattern. I will meet you back up in the end. Okay, so I'm doing my last single crochet here, and then we are going to attach to the first single crochet of the gray here. It's going to be kind of difficult to see for changing color, but there it is, and we're going to slip stitch there. Okay, so now you see there's like this big huge gaping hole. So what we need to do is turn this over to the back side, and you see the straggler of gray. You're going to pull it tight, and then you see this still attached to my yarn ball, but you probably have cut it off already. So I'm going to cut that and then pull this really tight and tie a knot with these 2 colors. Okay, and a really tight knot should do the trick. And voila, no gaping hole anymore. Awesome. So now we're down the last round of our eyeball, I guess, our goggle eyeball. So we're making this kind of cup up, I guess. It's going to look like a bowl. So we are going to chain up 1 and just do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, so no increasing. So just do 1 in that same stitch and then 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you do that and we will fasten off in the end. Alright, I'm just going to do the 2 last single crochet of this round and then attach it to the first single crochet by doing a slip stitch, and I usually like to chain up 1, and then for this one we're actually going to make quite a long tail because we're going to be sewing it to our hat. So I usually like to do about double around, and it's better to have more than not enough. And you can, and then just pull this all the way through and tighten it. So there is your eyeball, and it kind of bowls up so you can see that it's like a goggle, I guess. So that is going to go onto our hat that we have here, right in the dead center. Oh, that's going to look so cute. And we usually, when I sew things on, I usually put these stragglers behind this, and then it'll all be sewn in there. Like that. And then we have to make one of these little pupils. So let's do that right away. So what we need to do is, still with our H hook, 5mm, we're going to take black, we're going to do our slip knot here, okay, and then chain up 2, and we're basically going to do the first 2 rounds of our eyeball. So 6 single crochet into that first stitch, and then 2 single crochet in each stitch on the second round, so you'll end up with 12. But that'll make sense when we go through it. So chain 2, go into the first stitch here, first chain, and single crochet 6 times in there. So 1, 2, and I know black is very difficult to see, but the eyeball has to be black, so I'm doing it here. But if you know how to do the first 2 rounds of that eyeball that we did, you can just rewind this and just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, then attach to the first single crochet and with a slip stitch. Oh, dogs. Okay, and then chain up 1 and then 2 single crochet in each stitch around, so you'll end up with 12. So let's just do that real quick here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then slip stitch to your first single crochet, chain up 1, and cut your yarn however long you wish to have it, and pull through and fasten off, and there's your eyeball. So using black yarn is very difficult. There are crochet hooks that have lights at the end of them that you can crochet with black yarn. I can see this better in real life, but on the camera it's probably very difficult to see the black. So you'll be able to do it. I know you can. So we're going to now have to sew this together. So having this needle is very handy. They make these and they have them larger, or there are a few smaller sizes out there. So what I usually like to do is actually use my crochet hook and my needle at the same time. So what I'm doing is I'm going through the center, because this is going to be centered on this eyeball here. So go through this and pull through this straggler in the center, and then I like to use my needle here and crochet this in here like this. Okay, now you're going to have to sew this in so you can see a guide around in this circle on the white part, and then you'll just go through each stitch. So just eyeball it, no pun intended, but you just sew it on any which way you like, just going back and forth through the stitches. And make sure you're fastening it tight enough so there's no loose ends, but not too tight where it's scrunched up. Alright, and then once we get to the end here, we'll pull this through to the back, and what I usually like to do to fasten off is actually tie it to that same one we pulled through in the very beginning, and just tie a tight knot. That usually helps. So you can sew it on however you like, tie it on, or fasten it however you like, just make sure it doesn't fall apart when somebody puts it on their head. And then you have so much excess, so you can just trim that shorter. Now, this eyeball has these little white shiny marks, so we're gonna actually use the white yarn that we had when we changed color to the gray, and we're going to pull that from this inside here. So make sure you want it just angled right from this angle here. So we're going to go through the back and underneath the first stitch, okay, and put the yarn in there. And then you're just going to go down through the center of the pupil. So just go down and you see how it makes that white, okay? And then a nice trick I have so it doesn't pull too tight like that, what I like to do is actually stick my needle underneath this, leave it there, turn my eyeball over. This is the piece that we're working with, and you can tie it to any one of these loose ends. So I'm just going to tie it to this other white one. Keep the colors the same. Not that it matters. Tie a knot there. And then you can pull that out and there's your little shine mark. So now we can sew the eyeball to the hat, and you want to just make sure it's centered. You can eyeball it, again, no pun intended, and make sure it's dead center. And again, if you want to make two eyes, you can do that too. So it's really up to you. There's so many different Minion characters. Make sure that it's centered though on this black band so that it looks like it's strapped to his head. And what I usually do is just go through a few of these stitches. I sew it on using that long gray straggler. So I'll sew this on however I like, but you can sew yours on whenever you like, and we'll meet up when I'm done with that. Alright, so I've sewed on my eyeball and it looks good. You can push up the sides to make the goggle look like it's a goggle. And the very last thing we're going to, well, last few things we're going to do, you can give your Minion some hair. This one is bald, but you can put hair on yours. You can put the braids like we have on this one. And you can put a mouth with a tongue. So on this one, we're actually just going to put a little smiley face mouth, no tongue. So let's slip stitch, or I'm sorry, slip knot, and then chain, let's see, let's chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that possibly could be too large. Let's see. So we'll take a, oh, no, that actually looks like it's going to fit. So that's going to look like that. You can see that. Okay, so we'll just chain up one more, so chain 11 then. And then cut off a long strand, fasten off, and we're going to sew this to our hat. Okay, so I just pulled that thread through and pulling it through on this side. And then we'll just sew in each stitch. And you can make your smiley however you want. I'm going to make it just a simple middle smile face, but you can make it off to the side, or it's really up to you. Minions can be any style. They give their own personality. Alright, so you can shape it however you want. It looks good to me. Okay, then we're going to go on the inside and we're going to tie a knot to these two stragglers. On the train. And then we'll cut this. We'll sew in that end later. What you just want to do is just sew that end behind the mouth so you won't be able to see that black yarn. Oh, he's so cute. Okay, then we are going to give this little guy some hair. So what I like to do is measure out with my little handy dandy measure tool and measure, this is 5 inches, so measure 3 pieces of 5 inches. So 1, 2, and 3. That'll give us 6 strands of hair. Cut each end. Alright, so we're going to go to the very top of our head and go down the middle, go in through the front, hook on our 3 strands, pull through. Don't pull them all the way through though. We're going to make a loop and we are going to put these strands in through this hole, kind of making a knot like that. And then you can cut your hair however short you want it. Oh, about 1 inch. Okay, cute, cute. Then the very last thing we want to make are the braids. So, again, with this measure tape, take your blue and measure 36 inches or 3 feet. I think that's 3 feet, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 36. Okay. Then we're going to take that and double that, or actually take 9 of those strands. Okay? So I just like to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. They don't have to be perfect, but close enough. Cut each strand. And cut each strand. Alright, and then we're going to put our hook through the very end of the ear flap, go to the very center of, you're going to fold these in half, and go to the center and pull through with your hook all 9 strands. And then let go of one side and hold on to the other side and pull all the way through. Okay? So then you'll have all 9 strands on this side and on this side. Then the best thing to do is make sure they're even on both sides, which they are, and then make a knot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around my hand like this, kind of like how you make a slip knot, except pull this underneath and push it through here. Okay, if you're following me, and then tighten this up as close to the ear flap as possible. Make it a tight knot. Perfect. Alright, and then we're going to braid, and I assume you know how to braid, and if you don't, just take 6 strands in this hand, 6 strands in this hand, and 6 in the last hand. Alright, and then go over the right, over the left, over, and so on. There are other video tutorials on how to braid, so just braid however long you want these to be, and then tie the same knot at the very bottom, and you have your braid. So I'll meet you back up when I have both my braids on. Alright, so I've made both of my braids here, and they're even, so make sure your braids are even when you're tying off. And then there's all these extra stragglers, so I'm actually going to make these ends even by cutting those. And you just want to make them like an inch tall, they don't have to be perfect. Like that. Throw away the strands, and those are even. And then you just want to again sew in the ends you have on the inside. But essentially that is a Minion hat, one-eyed smiling Minion. It looks so cute. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and be sure to watch my other tutorials. And leave a comment or subscribe so you can see other tutorials on crocheting fun hats or fun anything really. I crochet anything. So if you have requests, please leave a comment and I'll be sure to answer. Thank you for watching.